So somehow expecting the lowest got the Browns to win a football game, 35-30, leading out the Cincinnati Bengals to start 0-2 this season. Well, this was expected over a more experienced Chargers team and a more star-studded, raw, talented Cleveland Browns team. Not saying that the Bengals didn't have talent. AJ Green was back and he was touching deep balls like no one's business. He got called back over most receptions, and he was targeted 13 times and only completed 3. One was an out route, one was inside. The other were either dropped or a lot were called back because they were down the sidelines near the red zone, and it was just poor call after poor call. He only got 29 yards over 13 targets and only caught 3. Giovanni Bernard was the same thing, 7 for 5, and then there was John Ross that I thought was going to be used up a lot more over the short game, but more was just used over for Drew Sample. CJ Azuma that did pretty decent, even caught a touchdown down the outside. The play action was used a lot. Boot trick plays, a lot of jet play, a lot of fake play action jet plays were used by the Browns side of the play. I just thought that Joe Burrow was just trying too hard, and whenever they were just having a tough time trying to run it down up the gut, and Joe Burrow was just trying to scramble, it just felt struggling. And there were times when Azuma was getting some good grabs. There was that one deep grab over for AJ Green with his knee down for a call to be reversed over near red zone. Great play and could have been a great highlight. Uh, did I think that the Bengals could have played better? Yes. Going 37 of 61 isn't the best thing to go. That's the most pass attempts of the season from a quarterback, especially a rookie one. Performing 3 touchdowns, 16 yards is a good resume, but your QB rating has to be a lot better. The only thing not holding Joe Burrow back is he still hasn't thrown any interceptions. Joe Mixon went for 46 yards. The carrying was just too inconsistent, and they were just bothered back. Denzel Ward, I think there was too many no reverse calls over some of the pass interference calls, especially off Denzel Ward. Oh my God, some over to William Jackson. It was astonishing, man. I got pissed off just looking at it. DJ Reader. Jesse Bates, that I thought was like getting so many calls. Not reverse back. I didn't know. I didn't know, man. But I gotta say, Odell Beckham, well done. Well done. Used more of a primitive role, and he just had easier field days over the secondary. Good drop back rates. They couldn't do anything without trying to get a pass interference out the guy. And all it took was Mossing Bell, Mossing Bates. Odell played tremendously. He got like most of the touchdown receptions. He was targeted 6. He got 4-6. He got a touchdown, 71 yards. Jarvis Landry was a close second. The only player that I thought underperformed a tiny bit was Austin Hooper, even though he was used in the pass blocking sense. Well, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb did come to play really well. Opened a lot of key gaps. Ran through a really mediocre D line. Nick Chubb played tremendously well, getting 2 rushing touchdowns and some great inside the gap running plays for easy touchdowns. It felt like they wouldn't stop. Kareem Hunt averaged 8.6, over nearly 6 yards an average for Nick Chubb. Like you can barely see him not get a pick, a fumble. There was Myles Garrett forcing a fumble, couldn't recover it though, in a Joe Jackson fumble recovery. Myles Garrett tried to use his teammate's helmet. I'm joking. But other than that, he tried to get a decent strip out the ball from, I think it was Joe Burrow when he got fumbled, and they got recovered by the Bengals. And hell, man, there was so Denzel Ward. I felt there was too many grabs on AJ Green, but sometimes it was just off the poor reads and the experience from Denzel Ward and Terrence Mitchell. It worked. It worked. And it's sometimes I just felt like some parts of the third quarter that the game should have been close. It was like it was like at least 27. I was like 28 to like 16 for like until unanswered 14 points came out of nowhere from Burrow to Tyler Boyd out to an outside play, and sometimes it just felt like Baker Mayfield was just dutching out to nowhere's land whenever he was throwing the ball. It was crazy. But just the rushing was just so easy to just get through and get to the opposite side of the field. It just felt like there was no problem. The Browns really came to play, but in some sense, it is a bit doubtful that they'll continue playing at this rate because it still shows that their run blocking is a bit shoddy, and so is their pass blocking in some sense. This decent reading of Odell Beckham, and it looks like Baker Mayfield always trying to cool heads and be a good captain. I saw that off most plays on the field whenever there was too much trash talking going around, and these are rival teams, and Baker Mayfield keeping a calm head. It makes me just feel that there's a reason why he's still the starting quarterback, even though we have a major history with first round quarterbacks going south in the first like 2 seasons. And he's been here and he's shown to like perform well, but in a 5 point deficit when you guys were up by like at least 13 points, like I mean not like 15 points in the third quarter and just let unanswered 14 points come off a rebuilding Bengals team. Uh the bit of questions have to be asked. Yes, you guys did score to bang it out home, and if it wasn't for Nick Chubb's running, you guys would probably be behind. It ended 30-35. The Bengals had a higher chance of coming back from the game than you guys winning it, and there's a lot to be had by that. But Joe Burrow just continues to try to produce decent games. I wish his passing was a tiny bit better off the poor reads sometimes he makes, but he's a rookie. I'll excuse it. Number one pick or otherwise, people make mistakes, and he has to learn better from that. He had no preseason, excusing the factoid of his practice schedule. Of course, we're going to see even veterans make mistakes from this, so don't get it twisted. I'm not ragging on Joe Burrow. I'm not going to rag on Baker Mayfield. Stuff happens, and it's going to feel like the first half of the season is going to feel like preseason in some games, and you'll see it out the team's performances. So, yeah, Myles Garrett played pretty well. Denzel Ward with 3 pass deflections. Played especially not that decent off the tackle department. Myles Garrett did get a sack. Best player out of Shelton Richardson that got a sack on Burrow when he was stuck planted in the pocket and stopped, I think, Giovanni Bernard twice. So, and I think stopped a scrambling Joe Burrow. And there were some parts of the game that I thought that should have been easily intercepted, but I think that was my Madden mindset to how terrible the air ball physics in the game is just terrible. But that's just my PTSD warming up. But yeah, that's week 2 opener for Thursday Night Football. The Bengals are starting 0-2 as expected. I'm not doing a picks video. I think those are worthless in my opinions. If you want to get to predictions, fine. That's just not my thing. I just wanna like probably if it's an important game, I'll do picks, but it's dependent on how I feel, and if I do, it's probably gonna get uploaded like Saturday. So yeah, this was a shockingly entertaining game in some sense. I think there was still some flaws against 2 of these teams. that are sort of a black sheep, and I think some people are still expecting the Browns to steal off wild card because on paper they have tremendous raw talent. They still have a reliable young front seven. They have they have tremendous rushing depth and two of the best receivers, plus a top of the line free agent in Austin Cooper, and they can just rotate over all over the floor. It's just the old line holding so much of it back, and just poor rookie reads off Baker Mayfield at some parts of the game, and it showed in the second half. In the freaking second half. But other than that, decent game. Browns pick up a win, even though I feel like over the most of their schedule, it's gonna be pretty scuffed. But a fun game, I guess. It's good to see AJ Green back. He mossed one guy, but too bad it was overruled. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, you like more of my recaps in the continuous start of the NFL season. I thought of what I was second guessing if I wanted to do reactions and stream them for the season, like I did. Like I think I did this like 2018 season. I recorded it. I mean, some people showed up and it's like, and it's not doing much for me. It's better off I just do recaps and you get at least see the duration because like people are just gonna pop on and off because my camera's not good, folks. Yeek. It's it's my fault, but I have a trash camera. But other than that, that's Thursday night football. Hopefully you guys are ready for Sunday night football, Monday, and Jesus Christ. That's it coming from me.